Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Perspective, a show where we tackle supernatural and paranormal claims, conspiracy theories, belief in aliens, pretty much anything you want to talk about. Give us a call and we apply a skeptic's lens to it. 951-364-2430. Tonight, I'll be taking a back seat and Brian and Martin will be hosting. Martin, how's it going? Brian?
I'm
Good
doing
to
great.
see you, Ethan.
Yeah,
You too.
happy to be here.
So Ethan got
smile.
Ethan got to hang out with some of our friendly neighborhood crew last weekend, didn't you, bud?
Oh yes, I did. I got to meet Dave Warnock, his partner, Cynthia McDonald, Arthur Ward, Kenneth Leonard, his partner. It was a lot of fun. It was pretty cool, dude. Meeting Dave was really, really awesome.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
Yeah,
definitely,
it was
somebody
cool.
who I want to meet at some point in my life.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm gonna let you guys get started, but it looks like we have our first caller. You ready to jump into it?
Yeah. Let's do this.
Sweet. So we have got this wants to talk about exorcisms. So we've got Micheal. You are on the line with Martin and Brian. And Martin, Brian, I hope you have call-in studio up right now.
I do.
I sure do. I just put Micheal through. So Micheal,
Awesome.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Right. Thank you for calling tonight. I understand you want to talk about exorcisms, which is kind of an interesting topic. So it kind of overlaps with some mental illness stuff and things like that. Let's hear what you got to say.
Well, I am an exorcist, and what I do is, I wasn't always an exorcist, but what I did was I started, I lived a rough life. A lot of bad things happened to me, so I started to say, it's the devil, so I started writing down everything, every evil thing I witnessed, every evil thing that was done to me. I wrote it down, and then I kind of came up with like a common denominator that it was all about, disturbing the peace. Everything I wrote down that was evil disturbed my peace. So I was saying like, okay, so all evil is basically a disturbance of the peace. So then I was like, that's the root of all evil, disturbing the peace. And then one day I performed an actual exorcism on somebody. And that I saw was like acting kind of demonically possessed. And then I performed an exorcism, and then a little while later, I entered a supernatural realm, a place called Purgatory. And I was in there for 25 days, and then I learned a lot about the devil in Purgatory. And
where can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah.
So you said you were in Purgatory. In what sense? Were you...
Basically, I was sitting in my room, and then it's like, you could have a bunch of people walking around you and you can't see them. But if you're in Purgatory, you'll be able to see a different dimension and they're on Earth.
Did you leave your body?
Yeah, are we talking about a physiological experience? Like, did this happen to you physically? Was this something that happened?
Oh yeah,
in your head?
I could feel them. Like, a person. The reason why people don't enter supernatural realms is because they can die in there. I could have died in Purgatory. I could have been murdered.
So. It sounds like there's some guidelines and stuff that you seem to know a bit about. Where'd you learn this stuff from? Like about that, you can die in Purgatory. Where's that information?
Well, I learned it when I entered Purgatory, because you can feel their discomfort, but you have to be able to be like a wizard, like Lord of the Rings, where got that big fire thing and he's fighting it with magic.
Gandalf and Balrog. Yes, I'm intimately familiar.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're trying to get down. We're trying to get down to
purgatory-
earth here. And we're right now we're comparing it to a fairy tale. Brian's asking, how did you learn that these things about purgatory? Did you read them in purgatory? Did somebody tell them to you verbally in purgatory?
Oh,
What
well,
method did you learn
it
this
was,
by?
Purgatory is the place where lost soul goes.
Well, you were
No,
familiar
No,
with
that's
concept.
not my question.
Yeah.
You're telling me more about purgatory. I'm asking you about your experience in purgatory. These things that you know, did you read them? Were they told to you?
Yeah, where's the information conveyed to you? So you're in purgatory.
I was in.
Okay, we're with
I'm
you.
trying to tell you, I was in purgatory with all the lost souls, and they were in an arena. Well, it's like you got a place called Helven also. Helven is like an arena that they go to, but purgatory is like a mental institution where they walk the streets. So they were walking the streets for years, and then they went into a place called Helven, which is like a theater, a big stadium theater seating where it was like millions and billions of people, and I was giving them seminars of all the stuff that I wrote down.
Okay, so this Helven place, you said that seating. So do you have a body when you're in purgatory, or did you leave your body? Are you physically going there, or are you saying like a spiritual travel?
Yeah, they're physical. They're there when a person loses their soul, they go to purgatory 100% themselves. And then on Earth,
I don't know what a soul is.
Their initial body is, they're not all the way conscious. You get what I'm saying by conscious?
I know what you mean by conscious. Okay, so again, we're not here to exclusively hear a testimony. We're here to engage over questions about that testimony. And I don't mean questions as in you need to prove anything to me. I mean questions as in you're the one who had this experience, and we're trying to relay it to our audience as best we can. So that's why I'm asking you questions. Okay. So I'm not trying to trap you. I'm trying to figure out how you know what you know.
No, that's what I'm here for, to get some questions and give you all.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
so I just wanted to establish that baseline and just make sure that that we're on the same page there. So again, when we say like, so you said you taught seminars in purgatory about purgatory to souls? Is that what I understand?
It's about the victory over the devil. So like when I wrote all that stuff, all those people doing all that stuff to me, it was a victory over the devil. Basically what I'm trying, my goal is to teach the whole planet how to use those supernatural powers. That's my goal.
We're very interested in that.
I would love to learn how to use supernatural powers. Believe me, if there's a way you could teach me to do that tonight, I mean, maybe not like teach me everything you know tonight, but
we could just start with getting to purgatory. Can we start with that? How do we get there?
How do I get there? Yeah, sorry.
Well, the thing you could die in purgatory if you didn't have the knowledge and the exorcism knowledge and the ability to use supernatural powers, because not everybody would have these abilities. You see what I'm saying? Like, not everybody can be an exorcism. Some people are too evil to be an exorcist. You know,
okay.
And so basically,
what's an example
if you were able to, I'm sorry?
Oh, no, it's okay. Go ahead.
So if you were able to use supernatural powers, then you would be able to enter into different dimensions and realms where you could survive. You get what I'm saying? Because if you can't survive,
actually, you kind of lost me there a bit. Can we just back up to about the supernatural powers and stuff? I would suppose. Okay. Well, just hold on. Let me just formulate what I'm saying. I suppose that accessing this I would guess you call it an alternate dimension, having access to that dimension would be considered supernatural power in and of itself. What other powers are you talking about? And of course, exorcism, assuming that demons or foul spirits or whatever do exist and can possess people, being able to exorcise them would be a supernatural power. Or are those the powers that we're talking about then?
Yes, and these are powers that humans have. Humans are supernatural people, but they just don't know
In
that
what
they're
way?
supernatural people.
In what way are we supernatural?
Just by doing exorcisms. It's basically an exorcism will give you peace, and this right here, what I'm about to tell you, is going to give you a big understanding. The devil is discomfort itself. The devil is discomfort itself. So when you remove the discomfort off of yourself supernaturally, that is an exorcism.
I want to talk to you about something you talked about earlier a little bit in regard to peace. You said, what did you say exactly about peace? You said, peace. Yeah, you said removing, what was it? Removing discomfort causes peace. Is that accurate? Or what was the axiom that you made?
Well, discomfort
or claimed.
Discomfort is the opposite of peace.
Okay.
So
you're saying that
by removing discomfort.
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically, when I came up with all the common denominator was the lack of peace that I had. Basically, the common denominator is discomfort. It's the same thing. Lack of peace is discomfort. But I didn't realize that then. I didn't realize.
I need to clarify, and this is for the chat more than anybody, for the people out here asking questions and stuff. How do we differentiate between possession and need for an exorcism and mental illness and need for medical help? How do we differentiate that?
Well, this might be a little controversial, but I don't believe there's such thing as mental illness.
Okay.
A lot of people say that I'm mentally ill, and I mean, person after person will say, "Oh, you're crazy. You're mentally ill. You're mentally ill," and it's like, a lot of these.
Anybody can say anything. Let's look at the reasons why they're saying that.
I'm sorry.
I said anybody can say anything about anybody. What do you think the motivations are for somebody to say that?
Just to be a soldier for discomfort. They're a soldier. They've been, like I said, they're not all the way conscious.
So you
get
think
what I'm saying? They're not all the way conscious because they're possessed by the devil.
Okay, to restate, I don't recognize a devil. I don't think a devil exists. So let's try to get more on the same page here. To restate, you think that these agents of discomfort cause you discomfort on purpose. Like when they wake up in the morning, their intention is to cause discomfort. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because what you're supposed to do is combat it. So basically,
are gay people
combat discomfort?
Are gay people an agent of discomfort for you?
Well, I think homosexuality is discomfort for me. Being a heterosexual, like if a man touched me on my butt, that would be discomfortable to me.
Well, that would be just as bad. That would be just as bad if anybody touched anybody
on their butt without consent.
I broke up. Sorry.
If a woman touched my butt, I wouldn't be as mad as if a man touched me.
Well, that's not so much. That's not so much the point. Okay, so maybe that's not the right angle to go on this. I was just kind of making sure we had a baseline established there about what kind of discomfort. So give me an example of discomfort that is caused to you by people who you think cause it intentionally.
An example of discomfort. Let's see.
Like a behavior
bad driver. You got some people on the road, they drive like maniacs. And they're purposely driving like a maniac and honking their horn at you. You know when the light turns green and it was green for like half a second and they honk their horn at you to move? Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
My rule is count to 5.
Demon. That's a demon trying to. Yeah.
No, that's not a demon. It's an asshole. There's a huge difference between a demon and an asshole.
Striking discomfort into you.
Right.
I'm telling you,
sir, the discomfort comes from within you. The discomfort is how you feel about their actions. Now, they may be entering your personal space.
Discomfort is a living creature. Discomfort is a living creature.
Oh.
Where does it live? Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. So if it's a living creature.
What happens is if you ever performed an exorcism on yourself and removed discomfort off of you, it could jump back on you, and then you remove it again, and it jumps back on you, and then you get in this fight, and that's how you know it's a living creature. I remember one time I stayed up.
Hold on. Let's explore this real quick. So I agree with you that it's a living creature because it's you. It's part of yourself and part of your own inner self. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that as a fact because maybe you don't feel that way. And if you have a opposition to that or something to demonstrate that discomfort is external. Because we all have internal conflicts with ourselves. We all have to work to be better and work to be good people. We all have demons, and I put air quotes up when I say that, in our personality that we have to work on and improve on all the time, right? So are you? And certain people have a different version of peace than other people. Like somebody might think smoking crack gives them peace. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
well, I think we can. I think we can demonstrate.
Have no discomfort. Peace is to be free of discomfort. You see what I'm saying?
I think we can demonstrate that smoking crack is bad for somebody, even if it makes them feel good.
Right.
There are specific health.
That's what I was just saying. To kind of.
Yeah, there's a gray area between medications to aid you with your mental health and drug abuse. There's a gray area that you never know when you're going to move into that to that region and find yourself struggling with drug abuse when you weren't intending to and were taking it to medicate yourself. So that's a whole different direction that we're going to that we're going to be going down there. So let's move back to the supernatural claims. So I think that's more on brand with what we're doing here. We could go back and forth about the mental health stuff. Maybe I shouldn't have asked about it, but it does concern me when I hear people talking about possession, because a lot of the symptoms of possession that you hear about are actually symptoms of people struggling with mental illness that is not being properly treated. So that's why I wanted to ask about that and how you differentiate that in your line of work. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't sound like that's going to be a safe route for us to go. So let's move back to the supernatural claims about purgatory, because that's a fun topic. We can talk about purgatory and how the soul leaves the body. Is that what you're claiming there?
Yeah, well, when someone loses their soul, it goes to a place called purgatory, and they just go there and they just walk the streets for years, and they just walk the streets, and they're on earth. So if you were able to go into purgatory, you would see these people.
So there's streets in purgatory. It's a physical place. It's like a physical place that you're physically interacting with your surroundings.
It's like another dimension or another realm. But
how do you get there?
Right in front of your face. You know what I mean?
What do you like meditate? No. Do you meditate and leave your body?
We're so close to it. I'm sorry.
What's that? How do you get there? I need to know. I want it. We want to know how to get there. You would have to basically be victorious over the devil, because if you weren't victorious over the devil, which is like, and there's a lot of stuff that I have like 100 pages worth of written stuff about supernatural power and about the devil.
all I do is expose
Who wrote
the
them?
devil.
Who wrote
You know
them?
what I mean? Like there's a word called superficial, and it's a very powerful word, and like only the devil is superficial.
Wait, what is
superficial?
What is
saying
superficial?
It's the opposite. It's the opposite of thorough. The opposite of thorough is superficial. So, like, if you're not thoroughly respectful to everybody, and you respect this person and you disrespect this person, like you're superficial. And a lot of people are like that religiously. Like, for example, if you were judging a chili cook-off, if there was somebody they were judging a chili cook-off, and there were 20 people who made chili, and the judge eats one of the chilies and doesn't eat the other 19, and he says, this one chili that I ate is the winner, and he didn't eat anybody else's chili. That is superficial. That is like being unfair, not being thoroughly respectful. And that's how we don't.
Okay, we get the analogy, and that's exactly why we do this, because we want to be thorough. We want to ask every question about every claim, especially when it comes to claims about what happens after we leave this world, because that's important. If there's some kind of afterlife and I need to be working towards retaining a good spot in it, I want to know, but I'm not just going to accept that.
Yeah, I mean, basically, just to get there, you just got to be a peaceful person, like a thoroughly peaceful person, like peaceful
right,
to everybody.
Hey, Michael.
If you see discomfort,
Michael.
I'm sorry.
I'd like to push back a little bit on the definition of superficial, because your explanation of it didn't quite match with my understanding. Now, in the sense of not being thorough, that is something that superficial can mean, but as the word stands, what it means is on the surface, or just above the surface. That's like super being above and official being the surface.
That's one of the
right.
That's kind of like a definition that's not that clear. But when
Hey, Michael. I know I'm looking at the acronyms right now. I know exactly what you're doing. And I'm not even trying to say you're wrong about what you're talking about because of this. I just want to recognize that this isn't how that word is normally used, so we can clarify it for our audience. Because when you said superficial is the opposite of thorough, it struck me as a little weird at first, and then I looked into it, and I understand your angle on it.
It's a broad meaning.
Hold on.
It means being
bud.
unfair. Being unfair.
Okay, but that's not what superficial does not mean being unfair. Superficial has nothing to do with fairness judgments, and that's where you're using this word incorrectly.
But that's unfair. Unfair is
Michael, I can mute you, or you can let me finish.
Right?
So as I was saying before, I kept being interrupted. Superficial has nothing to do with fairness judgments. Superficial has something to do with being just on the surface. My definition that reads truest to me is appearing true or real only until examined more closely. And now that I've had a moment to say that, we'll put Michael back on the air.
Michael, you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
All right.
Okay.
Did you hear what I said about appearing to be true or real until examined more closely? And that's way more in line with the definition of superficial.
Yeah.
So you can do a superficial examination of stuff and say that wasn't a thorough examination.
Right.
But you have to put a context on it in order for it to pull that.
Superficial has nothing to directly do with fairness judgments. A superficial person isn't necessarily unfair. They just are only skin deep or not.
Is this the same Michael we were just talking to? I think we might have a different Michael.
Oh, did I pick up the wrong Michael?
The other Michael dropped.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And then you picked up the next Michael.
Oh, sorry,
shoot.
Michael.
I am so
Thank
sorry
you for calling the
about that.
perspective. You're on with Brian and Martin, and we were just talking to another Michael. This is the second time that this has happened to me in
Martin's
the
fired.
last 3 shows that I had callers with the same name. So, hi, Michael. Thank you for calling. What would you like to talk about tonight? Let me see here. Why faith is important. Thank you for calling. Why is faith important?
I'll just go back to when I got sober. I've shared, I've been sober for 22 years, free from drugs and alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And part of my recovery program, it says that we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves can restore us to sanity. Because when you're out there doing drugs and alcohol, you're not a sane person. You're pretty insane. And come into that realization that there's somebody that's greater than me. And then, when you go a little further in the program, it says we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. And, that first part of the recovery program that I'm in, it you get introduced to God. And one thing that I know that I never had, because I was atheist, and I had a really hard time with the whole God part of recovery, and that I needed God, and I needed to say that he was greater than me.
Do you think that God was required for your recovery, or you think maybe you could have done it by yourself? Not to step on your faith,
by myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried to do it by myself, and every time I would fail.
And then you entered this program.
Greater than myself.
Did you ever seek community with other people attempting to recover from addiction before that 12-step program?
I tried it various ways. I tried church and church only. It didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I tried
but
cold turkey.
You said that God was the reason. So if church didn't work, why does the 12-step work?
Well, because the 12-step make you do inventory. They make you search your inner, like what makes you drink, what makes you do what you do. And then you bring God into that. You bring the Holy Spirit into your heart, like, okay, expose this stuff to me. Why do I do what I do? And it does, for me, it took a spiritual awakening to become aware of myself.
So, right, but what I'm hearing is that when you go to church
doesn't teach you that.
When you go to church and receive the Holy Spirit, that's not enough. You also need to do personal introspection. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So
okay.
I did. Now I've talked to other people. All they need is church. I'm not.
Okay. Have you ever
church?
Okay. Have you ever spoken to anybody who has been through a recovery program that did not involve God?
I have. And the difference between them and me is they're still miserable. Most of them are. There's a few.
How many? You said most of them.
I would say.
How many?
Probably. I would probably say I'm guessing I know about 25 to 30 people that took another route. And I would say 20 of them are miserable. 10 of them aren't.
So,
okay, out of a population
without it.
25 to 30
of how many? Like we're just accounting for your personal experiences, and the point that I was going to make out of this is that, to my knowledge, there is no state or federal funding for secular recovery projects. So the only recovery or addiction recovery services, I should say. So the only ones that I'm aware of that receive that kind of funding are religious-based 12-step programs. One of the many oversteps of the U.S. government in the separation of religion and government. Or you could call it an overstep of religion, depending on which direction you're looking at it from. Anyway, my point being, I'm really glad that you recovered. Personally, from my knowledge of psychology and addiction, I think it has a lot more to do with the personal introspection. And I don't know what the God has to do with it. If it makes you feel better, I'm all for it. And if it helps you stay clean, I'm all for it. I'm glad you're living a healthy life now, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So.
Yeah, that's not an easy thing to do. It's so if me and Martin, well, I assume Martin is with me on this, feel like you probably did it yourself and you needed something to give you that driving force, and finding what you did gave you faith on that. But someone not living your experience, because and maybe you did find God because you were in that situation, but someone not in that experience, how would we find that? How would we make that connection with a higher power?
everybody has either you have your own connection with God or you don't. And I know a lot of people on both sides of it. And all I can do is tell you that I've had one and I've experienced God. I went from not believing in God to becoming aware that there is a God and he's bigger than me. And that was in 1998. And when I talk to the people that have never had that experience, I've learned now it's like, we're not all the same. And some of these people eventually will find God. Some of them won't. And it's up to me. What do I believe? And what works for me? Because I've talked to many people, God will never work for them. And I don't know if where their soul will go. I don't judge them anymore for telling me that, because my brother's like that. I mean, I just say the word God to him and he just loses it, right? And I'm like, and I just stopped thinking that because he doesn't believe in God, that there's some kind of harsher thing waiting for him. Because I love my brother and I love the people. I started to just love people and just remove myself from the judgment side of things, because it's not my part, it's not my place.
That's an excellent thing to let go of when you come out of
hear,
religion. It's easy to.
Well, the religious side of things. That's what you have to really learn about, is what is religion for? Because I think that religion is needed to a certain point. We have to have some sort of like idea of God. We have to have some sort of like template, some like blueprint, and it's religion, right? Whatever one you turn to.
What benefit do we get from an idea of God?
Okay, it helps us to believe that there is a God, and then you have to go find God for yourself. You can't find God through a religion. You have to find him for yourself.
Sorry, quick question. What benefit do we get as a society from a belief in God?
Okay, so if people didn't believe in God, so there's two sides of this. You have the people that use God all the time to get what they want and to manipulate people. Then you have the side where people actually believe in God. So you have the human condition at work in whatever thing that will try to destroy God too, right?
Wait,
but what it
destroy God.
Hold on. I asked you, and I hear where you're kind of going with it. What I'm trying to get at is, what benefit, like what specific benefit would humanity get if everybody believed in God? Because we don't believe in God, like neither Brian nor Ethan nor myself. So what benefit are we missing out on?
Where did the moral law come from?
What's the moral law?
Did we make it up?
Are you talking about,
like, let's just start with the 10 Commandments. Let's just say the 10 Commandments. We'll just go there because people know.
Where did the 10 Commandments come from?
Yeah. Where did they come from? Did they come from God to Moses to the Jews?
Michael,
and then to us,
hey, Michael, do you need it to be written on a stone tablet to know not to steal?
Well, I don't know, because I've never known life without those commandments. I didn't know life before them.
Hey, that's a great answer.
Yeah.
I've never heard that answer before. Okay. So why don't you steal? Why don't you steal from people? You're walking down the street and you see somebody drop a $10 bill. Why don't you steal it and put it in your pocket? Is it because it says it on some rock 4,000 years ago or whatever it was?
Okay, so before I believed in God, I would steal the $10 bill.
No, but I'm asking you
no
why.
Qualms about it.
Why is it not?
Why
acceptable?
Don't you? Yeah, why don't you steal it? What's unacceptable about that? And notice how I'm already assuming that you're not going to steal it, because you don't strike me as the kind of guy who'd, you strike me as the kind of guy who'd be like, hey, you dropped this 10, right? Is that you?
Yeah, that's me now, definitely.
Yeah,
I would run.
Right, no, and that's me and Brian too. That's me when I was a Christian and me now. And I don't know if
Okay.
Brian's ever been a Christian. Have you?
No, I've never been a Christian.
Brian's never been a Christian. So we have all three here. We have atheist turned Christian who said that first he would have stolen it and then he wouldn't have. We have Christian turned atheist who would have never stolen it, and we have atheist who would have never stolen it. So it sounds
Okay.
like it doesn't have to do with growing up as an atheist necessarily. Maybe it has to do with what you're taught about stealing when you're growing up. And I agree with you that telling kids that God will punish them if they steal is a way to get them to not steal.
Is it the best way though?
But it's not a good way. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't like using God to punish. I don't think God is our cosmic punisher either. We can't use God for that.
Okay,
He's
well,
not-
I have 5 other people who do think that. How do I know which one of you is right?
Well, it's because do I want God to be my cosmic punisher? No.
Well,
Why would I want him to be anybody else's?
Okay, that's fair, but does what you want influence what God is?
God becomes your cosmic punisher when he decides to become it. It's not my job to make him that for anybody.
Okay. So what you're saying is
And
you
that's
don't
what
will.
I don't like about.
Yeah, no. I got you. So what you're saying is you don't will that to be. Like if you had it your way, it wouldn't be that way. Is that what you're saying?
It's not about me either.
Okay.
It's about
but
when
if you were in those
like
shoes to have to do that, to make those decisions about people, would you change the way so that everybody could have a happy afterlife? Would you will that?
I don't know. If I could will that, of course I would will that everybody.
Well, you're more moral than your God then.
Yeah, you sound like a better guy than God. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like
I'm the same way. There would be no eternal punishment if I was a deity. And people wouldn't have the drive to do bad things. So yeah, I would create a world like that because I think it's a more moral world.
Yeah.
Yeah, you agree with me there?
And but for whatever reason, yeah, it's not that way, and so we're left with this like question mark. Like, really? This is what I have to go and tell people, that they're going to burn in hell for eternity? Like, no. I'm going to say maybe you should not steal.
Yeah, I mean, teaching good.
Leave heaven out of it.
Because part of our morality, in my opinion, and I have science to back this up on some of these things. Part of our morality isn't innate. It's the way our synapses fire when we're exposed to different situations. No matter across the board, it's just there's things that are innate to us as a species that cause emotional reactions that we can interpret as a moral response of what the right and wrong thing to do in a situation is. And then some of it is conditioned. You can be conditioned to see a situation or be put in a situation and have your brain follow those same synapses firing that this is wrong based solely on the way that you were brought up. Like if you were brought up to hate homosexuals and you saw 2 men kissing, that would trigger those same synapses in your brain that you had when for something innate that you were off put by, but this is the results of conditioning. So how would we differentiate these 2 different ways that our morals are structured from the morals that are put down by God?
Okay, so here's something else to think about. This is what the church has never been able to help me understand in its presentation of God. It presents God as if God doesn't understand the human condition. But God does. He understands that people are weaker than him and that we have a thing called sin. If you go by what the definition of sin is, he understands that.
I kind of reject
his burden on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I cut you off.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But we put this huge burden. We, as Christians or whatever Muslim, whatever religion you believe in, you burden each other with this. You're a sinner, and God hates sin. Okay, God might hate sin, but God understands that we're sinners too. That there's nothing else within us. We even think that we're greater than Him, and He doesn't exist. He knows that. That's part of our condition. And we're just so religious and so self-righteous in our belief that we lose sight of that we're all in the same boat here. We're people and we're flawed, And, you know, we're going to go through life however we choose, especially for Americans. And, you know, it's how do you live your life?
We're
And
Americans, but
people
especially
see
for
in you
all
that
humanity, I say.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, remember, American problems are in the American news most often.
There's all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah, there's all sorts of crap going on around the world. I wouldn't qualify it either which way, saying one is worse than the other. Just everybody's got crap to deal with, especially coming out of COVID. But anyway, I don't want to nitpick that too much. But yeah, my ears perked up at that too, Brian. I saw you react a little bit. I was like,
we are Americans and we are legislating and voting for our own stuff. But let's not forget that that there's we're all children of the world. So let's think about each other too. Anyway, I certainly don't want to cut you off too short there, Mike. We do have a few calls backed up, so I'll let you get the last word in here. Okay.
So when I say Americans, I know that there's other countries like us, but man, we can come and go as we please. We do what we want to do. You have every kind of lifestyle when it comes to the gutter, to the uttermost, to the guttermost. We have it all in America. And what I've learned about our lifestyle is it's a choice. We all have the choice.
Well, we have it all until you get sick, but.
Right. And so people today want to dismiss that. They think that they're like the victim of life. And we're not. We wake up every day and choose who we're going to be and what we're going to do. I know I do. Good and bad. Sinful, not sinful. I wake up every day and make the choices I make. Nobody makes them for me. God doesn't make them for me. And I guess that's what's missing in our religious approach with each other is we make the choice to be whatever because we have the freedom to do it.
Right.
And I don't feel like it's anybody's job to take that away.
No, to take what away? Somebody's choice to be religious?
Somebody's choice to be religious or not be religious.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I definitely don't want to remove that choice from somebody. I just also want to remind our audience that an overwhelming number of people who are religious now were also raised religious, while our caller Michael is one of the exceptions to that rule. Generally, what will indicate a religious future is a religious upbringing, and there's all sorts of baggage that comes along with that, depending on which religion. Like, I know some kids who grew up in the Protestant church with me who ended up being atheists, and it wasn't really a big deal. And then there's some folks who grew up like Jehovah's Witnesses, and their parents don't talk to them anymore because they're not Jehovah's Witnesses anymore.
That's
tragic. So, yeah, absolutely, absolutely tragic. So again, that's the thing is religion is such a mixed bag, and I don't hear anybody being consistent about what God is saying. I hear a lot of people claiming different things about what God is saying. I'm right there with you though on the message of love. So if we can end the call on that common accord, I would really enjoy that. So be good to your neighbors and appreciate what you have. Is that a good place to end, Michael?
Yeah, sure.
All right, man. Right. Hey. Thank you so much. Again, congratulations on your sobriety. In all seriousness, I don't want to bash AA because it does help some people. What I want to do is I want to make sure that you don't have to be religious to go through AA and get something out of it. I want to make sure that there's options there for secular folks as well.
For everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, have a great evening, Michael. Thank you for calling.
All right. Before we jump on the next call, I do want to let everybody in the live chat know that me and Martin will be doing a short little Discord conference kind of thing over there on the YFNA Discord server. So check that out. If one of the mods wants to drop the link, make sure that you're part of the server there. All right. Who we want to pop over to next?
I want to say real quick, Michael 2.0 was a lot easier to talk to than the first Michael. I'm pretty sure they're both named Michael, right? The back-to-back callers that we had? Okay, I was like, I'm not making that up.
I think last week it was Steven that we had back-to-back callers with the same name. It was, I can't, don't quote me on that, but all right. Do we want to, looks like Bobby's been waiting for a bit. Let's, and we got UFO topic. And I just dropped this over to Martin and Ethan earlier today about the UFO stuff that's going on. So let's pull Bobby in here. Bobby, can you hear us?
How's it going?
How's it going?
All right. Yeah. So I'm not watching those podcasts right now. Can you guys introduce yourself for me real quick?
I'm Brian. BrainBug is my moniker, and this is Martin here with me tonight.
Yeah. My name's Martin. I'm a friend of the YFNA channel, let's say, and host here occasionally.
All right, and I think there's also is Ethan there.
Ethan is listening in. He's producing backstage, pulling pushing all the buttons and pulling all the levers. But he's here.
Yeah, I wanted to get into you guys about the UFO, UAP phenomena, but from listening to your last two callers, like I have like some stuff that I would just like some information if you guys would like to hear it on the near-death experience. I don't know if you guys have ever looked into that, but
yeah,
one of the like questions that I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, it's
just yeah.
Yes, we've looked into it a bit.
Okay, so do you mind if I just spill this real quick, or
yeah, lay it out for the audience, sure.
Okay, I guess that everybody wants to know what's going to happen to us after we die, and so when I was in college, I did a report on the near-death experience, and it turns out, regardless of what religion you're from, when you die, like it's a really large number, like 90% or something of the people have the same experiences. The really only question is, are they all having this same experience because of a certain death hormone that we all have that's released only upon death? So is that giving us, basically, some people will say, like that it's atheist. Well, these are just hallucinations that are all similar, caused by this hormone. I think it's, light to me is kind of like the air. Huh?
I was just saying, the brain does have chemicals that it's releasing there at the end.
Right. Anyway,
of course,
I'm going to run through this really quickly because it's going to cover Michael 1 and
go ahead. I think go right ahead. Just run right through it. And make it quick because we want to get to the UFO stuff.
Okay. Near-death experience. You die. Boom. You're looking down at your body. You literally come out of your body and you're looking down at yourself. I think this is probably so that you'll realize that, look, I'm dead. People see that. They see themselves. They see the person that shot them, let's say, for instance, standing over them, and they can actually read what's on the back of that person's shirt, for instance, that they couldn't see from their perspective laying on the ground. These things happen to people, just like you've heard in surgeries. Oh, I could hear them talking. I was looking down because you're literally out of your body. When you're sleeping at night, and you guys, like, okay, so you realize you're dead, but then your life flashes before your eyes. But not only does your life flash before your eyes, like you're just watching it randomly on a screen, but you get a sense of the way you, like when you drop a pebble into water as you're living it, if you're the pebble, you just realize you're in the air, you see the water coming there, you're wet. But from this perspective, you get to see that pebble drop into the water, which is your action, and you get to see that ripple effect of how it affected other people.
Okay, I would like to push back on a couple things said there. So you said NDEs are like when you're in the operating room or you're in the ER in trauma 1 or something, undergoing surgery or whatever,
right.
where you right. you become what, lucid, or you said you look down on the operating table or something like that.
No, I'm not talking. This. Let me clarify. This isn't my own personal experience. This is what I've read in a report from people from all over the world of different religions who have died because either their heart stopped or they were underneath the ice.
That's a common experience. It's a common experience to have that looking down on yourself and hearing the stuff around you and whatnot while you're.
No, what that reminded me of, I was going to say, was one time when I was having surgery done on me, and I became semi-conscious at one point during it, and they had to up the anesthetic. And I just want to point out that there's a lot of things going on chemically when one is undergoing surgery or in like a trauma unit. There's lots of morphine. There's lots of morphine at play. Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of relate to that experience. Like I had something similar. I wasn't on my deathbed. I was having my wisdom teeth removed. But I was also under the influence of some pretty heavy drugs and had like a really like whoa kind of moment in the middle of it where I was like semi-conscious and then not conscious and going in and out. And I remember a little bit of drilling, and anyway, it was awful. But you continue what you're saying, please.
Well, this experience, what these people are relating, is different in that they can literally see the complete room below them. All right, the next thing that happens, I'm going to just move through this because I know you want to get into UFO stuff, is, you know, everybody says you see the light. Well, for instance, this one lady, she saw the light. She started going towards the light, and when she got to it, it said Sylvania 100 watts. She was reading the light bulb on her ceiling. That's how literally of an out-of-body experience it is, that she was literally reading her light bulb. She was like, oh, that's not the light, so she goes on to another light.
Can I
now,
ask
one
real
detail
quick?
that,
Sorry,
know,
I know you're trying to burn through this, but just real quick, what source is this? Because you keep citing either a source or multiple sources. I don't need the link. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I use multiple.
Is it a medical? Is it a medical journal? Is it a like what is it?
I always direct people to Thomas Westbrook stuff on this.
20-something years ago.
Okay.
I'm sorry?
I always direct people to Thomas Westbrook stuff on this, and his videos are good, but he also does great citations down below of the psychology research and the experiments that have been done with NDEs. So I recommend checking that out.
Holy Kool-Aid.
Great channel, yeah.
Right.
For that particular topic.
These are people. Some of them are Hindu, some are Catholic, some are all kinds. Some of them don't believe in God, but they're seeing these things. And so, anyway, I'm just going to on. What I think is like, people say that they see two little tornadoes also with souls trapped in them spinning in circles. I'm not going to get into all that, but that's one detail that this one lady said, I thought I was for sure hallucinating. But she went to a conference on the near-death experience. She said when she walked in, the lady that was up there talking was describing these two like stationary tornado-type structures full of souls spinning off
Brain's
to the side.
a funny thing like that.
Really cool.
It's like since we're talk about UFOs too, it's like the alien abduction experience, until the Betty and Barney Hill abduction, aliens were for the most part depicted as like little green men, but as soon as that image of the gray alien with the big black eyes made its way into pop culture, suddenly that was the trend. That's where people's brains went when they were having these experiences. So you think it could be something innate to our brains, just something that's built into us, that's wired into us, or it could be something cultural.
I agree with that. Can I just finish? I swear this is only going to take 60 more seconds, and then we can get into the UFO thing. The last thing that people are saying they see when they get to this thing, it's like a white area. There's like a beam of light that goes off into eternity, and it asks you by your name, like, what did you do with this life I've given you? The other thing is that people might evolve, but planets, they change. But the space in which to put planets, it didn't just evolve. Somebody had to create that space. That's what I had to say about there's a creator or God.
Hold on.
So
and I kind of thought, wait, hold on.
Call this because I am
Bobby,
abductee, that's what I actually call it. So.
Bobby. We can't just listen to... Okay, if I claim my cat is here, that's fine. You don't need to see my cat to know that he's here. But if I claim that my cat can fly, you're going to need to see my cat flying, right? Okay, well, if you're going to tell me that God created the universe, you're going to need to not show me, God creating the universe. I don't need to see the process, but I need to see the proof of that. So I would almost rather talk about this than UFOs. I think we have more juicy... stuff to get into here.
Before you all get into anything else, I just want to say thank you, Secular Pagan Mom, for the super sticker. We love you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks to our viewers.
Everything you see has a creator, including everybody in that room. Everything you're looking at around you has a creator. Why would you think the universe does not creator? You can call him God if you want. You can call him whatever you want, but everything has a creator.
My
and life itself can't be destroyed.
My parents created me. My parents created me, but that doesn't mean that they designed me. Like they didn't sit down in a laboratory and decide, okay, yeah, he's going to be 5'10" and have black hair. But they created me. Hold on. I'm not done yet. They created me. I went full Dillahunty there. Jesus Christ. They created me in the sense that they initiated my being. So when you say God created the universe, are you saying that God started the universe, or are you saying that God sat down with a supernatural pen and paper and created the fabric of the universe?
Yeah. Right. My impression of it is that God is like the Alpha and Omega. There is no beginning, no end, like life. We've created artificial life. Supposedly they got all the little amino acids that form a bacteria, and they linked them together, and sure enough, it started replicating, and the headline was, scientists created artificial life. But they didn't create artificial life. They created a vessel in which an artificial vessel in which real life could inhabit. So life itself, like people who are atheists, like kind of that argument is like, you know, we all love each other. You should treat your neighbor like yourself. We don't need to be told that. The whole kind of idea is that we're that river of life, and we're all separated instances of that same life. Different examples.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying that atheists are saying that, or are you saying that?
Well, that was getting kind of into the UFO, like one of the Greys would tell you that there is no God, that nothing by definition does not exist, therefore there is.
Hey,
in other words, nothing by definition does not exist, therefore there is.
I don't want to hear. Wait, is that what you're arguing for or against? I think you were presenting a counter argument that wasn't one that Brian and I made to your own argument, and if I didn't understand that properly, that's my mistake. I just got a little lost there. So what do you? What are you
saying in my own personal view? In my own personal view, the space in which to put planet Earth is just as important as planet Earth, and that empty space didn't evolve. Even empty space had to have a creator, like building a house.
The space
that doesn't evolve, so there has to be a creator.
The space wasn't always there. Are you familiar with our current cosmological models? Almost all of them show that space is expanding
that the universe is expanding, right? But that's like saying that there's nothing, like there's no empty space for which it to expand into. There's already space there.
No, there's not. There's not. That's
how
not
do you
the
know? Yeah, so, how do you know what's on the edge of the universe?
And that void would have already had to been created also, in which to create area for which to expand. Either way you get it, we're 90% water. If we were to evolve, you would have had to have a human evolve out of the primordial ooze next to another human at the same time, with the ability to mate and procreate at the same time.
No, that's hold on. That's not what anybody is saying happened. I want to hear what you are saying happened. You seem to be bringing up these other arguments that you've heard from other people and then saying, well, it couldn't be this. Well, I'm not saying it's this. You're not saying it's this. So let's hear what you think happened. Don't keep debunking people who aren't in the room.
I have no definitive answers, but I just feel like that since everything I'm looking at around me at this moment has a creator, including myself, that there must, I don't know if you want to call him God, but I definitely think there's a creator.
What do you mean it has a creator? Like you say everything around you has a creator. Who that's kind of a tautology.
The table you're looking at, the walls you're looking at, the people you're looking at.
The table was a tree. The table was a tree beforehand, and the paint was the paint was some chemicals that we've refined through some process that I can't explain here.
All the bolts and nuts were raw.
Like life itself is like a creation.
Life, you create your offspring.
Yeah, but that's the thing is we're comparing things.
The energy to transfer our 90% body, which is water, into something that dreams and has thoughts and feelings. That life force, that doesn't just evolve out of lifetime. That's like a gift.
Those are emergent dreams and thoughts are the emergent properties of the brain. It's actually an emergent property of our sensory perception, because we take in information about our environment, and different animals and different life forms have a different level of this. But even plants have some awareness of their environment and some reception to external forces. So we need a plate. Not only did we develop these organs and these perceptions to navigate the world that we lived in, we also need a way to store this information to remember the path to get to the food or whatever. These are all things that evolve slowly over a few billion years to help us navigate and understand our world around us better and better. And a byproduct of having this storage in your brain to remember the directions to where to get the food also gives you this big storage space that just keeps on functioning while you're sleeping, while you're under anesthetics. It just keeps on rolling. The tape keeps on playing.
Right. What do you guys wanted supernatural powers? That's actually, you're like, I want to learn how to, I want supernatural powers. The government has come out with a manual to teach the average person how to remote view. You have to practice at that. You have to do it during the REM state. And it's probably best, from what I understand, they have people that guide them also into different locations. but they have verifiable fact of people that are coming up with good results of seeing the same things using those methods. And so that's something you could do. But,
okay,
again,
which
I would advise against
hold
it.
on.
If that's something you wanted to do, you could do that. Yeah.
Which organization in the government released a manual on how to do remote viewing?
Are you guys three there? I'm not sure somebody can Google it. I'm not really sure, but if you Google remote viewing, I actually have some documents that were released recently on my phone, but there was actually one page of the manual that was kind of the key to getting it finished that nobody had. Like when the Freedom of Information, that page was missing, but they released, I think it was Linda Moulton Howe that had that page, but I got
U.S. government remote viewing program.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about here. I know that the CIA has had failed programs in regard to that. I don't believe they had any success. So what you're talking about is a document that was written in the 70s and only released to the public recently. So this isn't something that's currently going on. The only reason why they'd release these documents is if they're completely useless. Like, that the government doesn't release useful information, right? I mean, you can get some stuff through a FOIA request,
sure. Typically they want it, right. Everything's useful. So, which brings me, let's talk about UAPs. Why do you think they would deny them for 40-something years, and then all of a sudden, be saying that these things are real? I mean, to me, it's kind of astounding that people aren't kind of freaking out when your own government is saying, hey, one of our ships, one of our military battleships, a destroyer, is being swarmed by pyramids in the sky. That's your government telling you that.
This information
so why
has
would
been
you
out
think
for...
that they would be telling you that now?
Right. This information has been coming out for the past couple years. I know there have been some big releases lately.
Right.
Again, I'm not here to defend the U.S. government and their information practices. I think that they should be a lot more transparent as well. What conclusions can we draw from the footage?
You know who Werner von Braun was?
Wait, hold on. What conclusions can we draw from the footage that's been released?
And we can talk about.
I think the bottom line to all of this is going to be what you would call a breakaway society.
I would be happy to talk about Operation Paperclip with you and the rocket program some other time. We aren't going to be able to get to that on this call. So just to let you know, we won't be able to go down that rabbit hole. But I do want to talk about the recent releases. Go on now.
Okay. For instance, something you guys may or may not know, but the Aegis radar in which they're tracking these things, like the Tic Tac, is one of it's probably the most advanced radar system in the world. Mm-hmm. I actually talked to the guy who was running the radar that day a couple times. He's a pretty nice guy, but
what are his conclusions from monitoring it?
They not only have these fuzzy, grainy videos that you're looking at, but they could see on the Aegis, on the monitors, they could see like a pipe that came out of the bottom of it that came down vertically and then went towards the back. These aren't just fuzzy phenomena that are, these are like structured craft that are breaking what we thought were the laws of physics, which aren't.
Okay.
And they're coming down. If you listen to the story, they're coming down above the water to a submerged larger, what we would describe as a mother craft that they thought was a crash, 747 or something. They're flying around that. These things are, I don't know if you guys are aware, but they're infesting our waters. They're in our skies. They're flying into our skies, into our water without even slowing down. That's in one of the release videos. They're in space. They're in our skies. They're in our oceans. They're under our mountains. They're everywhere.
Okay,
but you know what? Nobody wants to talk about it because the implications.
We want to talk about it.
But we can't talk about all of it in the whole thing. We can just let's talk about the evidence that we have on the plate right now. Let's look at the Tic Tac. You want to talk about the Tic Tac? We can look at that.
Any of that is all. Yeah.
So what do you think the Tic Tac is? What do you think it shows?
The Tic Tac shows that they have a much larger craft underneath the water, and they have several that, if you listen to the video, they said, there's a whole fleet. Look on the NSA, there's a whole fleet of them. They were dropping out from the upper atmosphere
I'm
like
not
rain.
Sure if that's...
Like you're talking about.
I know the one. I know the
we're
footage.
Not being invaded.
Right. Hold
we're
on.
not being invaded.
Bobby. This has Bobby. This has to be a back and forth, or it doesn't work.
I'm
Okay,
sorry, y'all are
so-
garbled. That's what, you know what? It's like when y'all are talking, I'll hear it's gutu, and it's like, it's really, I hate
Right.
to be interrupting y'all. Maybe that's why the other caller, because I can't hear y'all. Yeah.
Okay, well, we can work
But anyway.
on that on the tech side. Apologies, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just we're not hearing each other when we need to.
Right.
Brian, go ahead and ask your question again.
Okay, so the Tic Tac, you think it's a from what I've seen of that particular snippet is just the one craft flying. You said that there's more than one craft in there. I haven't heard that, but I did have a military pilot on my channel recently. I think he was a military pilot. He's a pilot, but yeah, kind of. And we went over the different videos and kind of looked at them. So.
Right.
So they got the heat sensor on there, which is turning the object black. It's not really black. It's not really that shape either. That's the kind of the shape of the heat around it. And then around that, you'll see the white like halo, which is the equipment that is making it so that the heat can be seen as black. So that it's more defined. It's trying to define the object with that white area. Now, a lot of misunderstanding that people had in the mainstream about that was that there was some kind of aura around that was some kind of anti-gravity device, but you do understand that's not the case, right? Okay. And what other features?
No. I have to disagree with that because in one of these recently released videos, you have the craft that was near the airport fly directly into the water and out of the water without making a splash or slowing down.
Oh, no, I'm just talking about the Tic Tac.
For them not to have their own envelope. They have their own gravity envelope. That's why they would be able to make these extreme maneuvers. Also, maybe even on their own different, like, local time frame. You know, like...
Yeah. Local space time
experts
just kind of released some information on that. Have you looked at that today? Just released. Well, I shouldn't say just released. Today's the publishing date. So Scientific America, we have some different experts that weighed in on that. I would recommend reading that over. That's what we were looking at earlier today. Have you looked into that at all yet? It just
that particular article on. You know, I've seen just myself. I mean, straight up, me and my son. It's probably been about 2 years now. We've seen 15 to 20 orbs with lower than 100 feet, maybe about 100, probably about 100 feet, go right down my street in the daytime.
Where do you
so,
live?
Like, I don't really.
I mean, I don't need the neighborhood, really obviously. But what state do you live in?
I live in Houston right now, in Texas.
Oh, right. I'm so sorry. It says that on the call in studio. I just am silly and didn't read it. Wow, I would love to see that. If you can get that on film and send that to Ethan, we would definitely like to talk about that on air.
Does it happen more than once?
No, I've had 3. I've been like, I've sent Ethan some screenshots of the people of my experiences, and I've always had somebody else there with me. I'd made a Facebook post, and you could see there on my screenshots of the other people. Yeah, it was a Bobby. I've seen them multiple times, but like the last sighting during the day was the first daytime sighting of multiple objects like that, and it was kind of freaking me out when that happened. But I've been having experiences ever since I was 4, so.
That's great, and we'd love to get into that. And I was serious about wanting to talk about von Braun and the rockets and Project Paperclip and all that stuff. I'd love to dig into that.
Right.
But we got a lot of calls backed up right now. We do really want you to call back, though. It sounds like you got a lot of things to share with us and to kind of.
I really apologize for talking over you guys. I couldn't even.
Okay.
When I started talking, I just kind of blurted out. I know, but I couldn't really.
There's a delay.
It was
it's okay.
Like distortion or something. Yeah, I couldn't even tell if y'all were talking. Like
no worries, man.
It was just like kind of. Yeah, it was just strange.
It's all good.
Anyway.
Sorry,
All right,
I hope I didn't seem like I grilled you too hard on that either. But yeah, have a great night, Bobby. Thanks for calling in.
All right.
And all right, I think we're gonna start reading some super chats now. So from Asexual Atheist, thank you again for being here. I appreciate you. I see you in all the chats. She said, or they said, I guess, I don't know their pronouns, Pet Woodhouse and Hopper, also great show. Thanks. Philip Leitch, Said, thank you for the $5. Said, ask the caller, define incredulity. A little too late now. There were a few things that I wanted to push back on with all of the callers tonight, and there's never enough time.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people with a lot of topics they wanted to go over tonight.
We still have several lines on hold here, and I'm hoping we can get to everybody. Are there any other supers, Ethan?
I think that's it.
Oh, nope, that might be it. Alrighty.
We got Bubble next. Now, Bubble I talked to just the other night, so they're familiar with me. Let me pop them on in here.
Yeah, go ahead and get us started here, Brain.
Hey, Bubble. Good to hear from you. I'm glad you. And just to let you know, we're experiencing a bit of a delay tonight, so it kind of overlaps a little bit. So wait a second after I finish talking, and then you can respond. All right, go ahead, Bubble.
Oh, roger that. Okay. I was going to say hi. So where should we start this?
Okay, you said when we were talking, you had said if you don't believe in the supernatural, you gave instructions on something to do, and I kind of wanted to get our fingers into that a little bit. Go ahead and repeat that here.
Oh, yes, I was making the argument, like from the debate of how to prove gods. I was making the argument you can use ghosts and demons as evidence, and then you can go hunt for ghosts and demons using techniques and locations that can be confirmed by others, and then you can use those techniques yourself and experience the paranormal yourself, and that would be one piece of evidence to a potential god or gods.
So, what type of? So I used to run with a new age crowd. So I've spent my share of time investigating and staying the night in and doing Ouija boards and stuff like that, and allegedly haunted locations. That's actually what turned me. I was a bit of a deist like before that, but that's kind of what pushed me towards the atheism in the first place, was spending all that time looking for anything and finding nothing. So are there some instructions that you can give that would give me different results than those that I have experienced in the past?
Yes. First of all, you have to use a documented haunted place, like a prison, like I think they have some prisons in Ohio and Philadelphia. They're from the 1800s. Use one of those prisons. You have to be alone. No recording equipment, because it seems they don't want to be formally acknowledged. They turn off recording equipment. So you have to be alone. You have to leave any recording equipment behind. You can bring a flashlight. Not too powerful though. I'm not sure if that scares them off or anything, but yeah, I think that would be a safer bet. Of course, it has to be at night. You can't go during 7. It has to go between 12 and 4.
Okay, I think I can check all those boxes though. I think I can with the stuff that I've done.
I say, I don't know which boxes aren't you checking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think I check them all. I think that I've done everything, all those instructions. So I just didn't have the experience. Have you had a supernatural experience after doing all those, taking all those steps?
I mean, what kind of, did you try to reach out to them, or what was your process?
I used to. Yeah, we would go into. I was part of a paranormal investigator crew. I was also part of a little Wiccan coven thing that we'd go and do that stuff.
Did you go alone around 3 with no recording equipment?
I know I've done stuff around 3 because that was the time you're instructed to do a lot of this stuff. These rituals and things. As far as recording equipment, I guess I'm going to show my age and say at the time that I was doing this stuff, it was before you carried a cell phone with you all the time. So I didn't have any recording equipment.
Okay. Did you go alone?
I've gone alone and I've gone with a little group.
Okay. Completely alone. They can't be in the next room.
What's that?
or across the hall.
Oh,
They
wow.
can't be in the next room or across the hall. The ghosts seem to have some sort of predatorial kind of sense, like the prey usually attacks the lone sheep or the lone goat. So they seem to be predatorial.
Well, the
Wait,
problem is...
So they're predatory, but they're afraid of cameras.
Real quick,
Well,
too, I
yeah,
want to
they
say
don't
this
want
to
people to make
anybody.
knowledge.
I want to say this to anybody out there who wants to go ghost hunting. This is a rule that you always have to use in doing any of this stuff. You don't do it alone. You can't do it alone. It's too dangerous. And I'm not talking about dangerous from ghosts. I'm talking about a lot of these places are older, like you said, old jails and things like that. Incidents can happen that can that someone can get hurt. You need to be able to reach the outside world just for safety reasons.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes they do want to hurt you, and you have to say you're allowed to hurt me, because you're going into the lion's den, and the lions don't attack the herd. They attack the loner.
Yeah, the lions, predators in general will single out a individual that's alone. Or separate an individual from the group. That's
they do attack. Right, yeah, they do attack the herd, and they separate the weakest individual off of the herd, and then they attack them. The animals are already in a herd. I mean, if the herd moves on and one animal doesn't follow, then yeah, automatically that's the lion's prey. But if that doesn't happen, the lion is still going to try to separate one off from the herd.
Yeah, so that's why you have to separate yourself. You have to willingly separate yourself from the herd, go alone, let yourself allowed to be hurt, because some of them might try to scratch you. So that's something you have to accept.
So how are we able to confirm this, that you can get scratched and that they're going to...
You'll feel pain, I guess. Like, you'll see scratch marks.
And you've had
to get paralyzed.
Have you experienced this?
I have experienced it, but I haven't personally. I have seen full body apparitions, but they basically froze my body because this spirit wasn't targeted towards me. It was just a passerby, and I noticed it. It didn't like that, so it just turned around towards me, flicked its finger, and I passed out because it was walking towards a different room, but I got up, he noticed me, flipped around, just like go back to sleep kind of thing.
Huh.
And you saw this with your eyes?
Yeah.
What color
this wasn't
was
a dream,
the thing?
I have had scary dreams before.
Right, hold on.
My dreams have been more...
Right,
Yeah.
I'm not asking about your dreams. I asked you what color was the thing that you saw?
Basically, it looked like the Grim Reaper.
It looked like okay, so it was wearing black robes, or...
Yeah, it was a black robe. I couldn't see it. I couldn't...
Don't you think that it's kind of funny that when you see a ghost, it looks exactly like the ghosts in the media? Like, how does that
No, it would make sense, since the media, art is based on the life. Art imitates life, so it's only natural that
life imitates
the
art
Reaper
too,
would
though.
look
Yeah,
like.
I thought the expression was life
Yeah.
imitates art. Am I wrong about that?
It works both
Well,
ways.
I would say they have it backwards. Life comes before art.
Okay, they're opposing philosophical positions. A little bit of googling told me, but we're not going to get into that right now.
It's a feedback loop.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't.
Right. Yeah.
But
somebody in chat said life imitates art imitates life, and now my head hurts. I like it.
So, how do we know? How have you? So your experience with this Grim Reaper like entity? How have you? What other options have you toyed with in your mind that it could have been besides a ghost? What other, or did your mind immediately say that's a ghost that I saw?
Well, later my brother and sister told me that my father was into some occultic stuff. I didn't know this at the time, but that entity was going towards my father's room, which was could have also been like, because this is around the time my grandma passed away, so my father took over my grandma's room, so it went in that direction. So I'm not sure where it was going for my grandma or going for my father.
Huh. What makes you think it was going for anyone? I guess would be my question.
Wait, I thought you said they only attack you if you're by yourself.
Well, because the entity was walking towards that direction. When I got up, it was walking towards that direction. And when I really cleared my eyes and got a hold of what I was looking at, it turned around, flicked its finger, and continued on its way.
Okay, so you fainted. You said there was a bystander nearby,
yeah.
a passerby. What did they do?
No, the entity was walking towards the direction of the room. It wasn't walking towards me. It had already passed my bed, going towards the other room.
So were you in bed when you saw this?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not. I had similar experiences when I was in my early 20s. Working when I was working overnights, and it happened. And then on the weekends, I would have to. So working overnights, I was gone all night, and then on the weekends, I'd have to try to adjust my sleep schedule and flip it around. And I used to have like this recurring instance where I would wake up in my bed frozen and I couldn't move, and there's some black entity moving off to my right, like moving towards me, and I was just I couldn't breathe, I couldn't scream, and eventually just go away, and I'd be laying there in my bed, and there was nothing there, everything was fine, but I had that fight or flight response in my brain still going on. So what I was experiencing was a condition, a medical condition called sleep paralysis. Now mine was triggered by a change in that I was having this awkward sleep pattern. But had you considered the possibility that since you were laying in bed that this may have been an instance of sleep paralysis?
No, because I have had sleep paralysis before, and I had nightmares that terrified me more than this event, and it felt nothing like it. Because at first I wasn't paralyzed because through my whole the thing when it happened, the operation part, I was never paralyzed. I was just made to fall faint. And I have had sleep paralysis before. It's not the same. It's a different feeling.
All right. Well, I mean, so what you're telling me now is that you've had experiences with sleep paralysis in the past, so you're familiar with it, but it also means you're susceptible to it. And all sleep paralysis instances are not the same. I've had some variability in mine, I can say, and I've when I was exploring what was going on, I did find lots of people who had a different experience every time. So I don't want to say that your situation was sleep paralysis, but and tell you that that's what it was, obviously, but it may be something worth considering. We do have a few calls backed up. I do appreciate you calling in tonight, though, Bubble. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What did you have to say?
No, okay. Well, I guess so. But I guess if you really want to try it, use the method I said. You have to talk to the spirits. You have to be alone. No cameras. You use a haunted place like a prison. Also try to damage the environment because they really hate it when you touch their stuff. They seem to have some sort of at least sense of property, if not some sort of politics. It's bizarre. All right,
that's fascinating.
All right. Well, we appreciate your call, Bubble. And we're here on Tuesdays. If you feel like you want to call back and then talk to us again, I'm here every other Tuesday. Next week, who do we got? We got Laura and is it Kenneth? Is it Laura and Kenneth we have next week?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway,
give us a call back sometime, Bubble. Thank you so much.
Oh, Laura and
Dave. Dave Warnock? I'm jealous. I want to host Dave.
All right. Well, Bubble, again, we appreciate your call. Give us a call back, and you have yourself a pleasant evening, okay? And we are moving on to, who do we got next here? Let me see.
We're actually going to read some super chats real quick.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Cynthia McDonald, one of the resident nonprofits hosts and conductors, said, Woodhouse, and that's my cat's name. And he just looked at me because I said his name. Keith, thank you for the $5, said, Caller says art imitates life, but one movie with gray aliens comes out, and now that's all we hear about. Where did the little green men go? I don't know, Keith, but when we find them, we'll be talking about it here.
Right.
The quest for the little green men continues. All right, well, I think we have time for one more call here. If you're not Nathan, please go ahead and give us a call back next week. But right now, we're going to talk to Nathan.
Hey, Nathan,
Hello.
You're on with Brian and Martin. What's up?
Hey guys, I just wanted to kind of talk about my experience with UFOs. Just to kind of give a little insight, I used to be very like hardcore Christian, to the point where like I would get into the actual meta information of it, like the Greek translations, the Hebrew translations.
Nathan, we're having a little bit of trouble hearing you. Is there any way we could get a little bit more volume?
Oh yeah, sure. Can you?
There, that's better.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just to give a little insight, I used to be very Christian, hardcore Christian, but due to like my events with like UFOs, that's kind of like changed everything. So like what made me a little bit more like atheist and agnostic, sort of teetering between both of them.
So what kind of experiences have you had?
Well, it sort of happened, I believe, around 2011. That's when things started becoming a little bit like more apparent for me. It started happening with like weird kind of things happening in my apartment. I had a kind of like a guard dog, or I forgot, it was a camera that had a kind of like infrared. It was at night, and I was looking, and I was wondering why my apartment was so dusty. I just was kind of surprised that I was like, hey, like my apartment's dusty through the infrared camera, and I'm like, I never realized how dirty it was. And all of a sudden, like I started looking a little bit above my head behind me, looking via my phone connected to the camera, and I see this large orb. And it's like, what the fuck? I look back, and then I can see it, like visually in front of me, like this orb. And it looked just like a little, it's just like a fairy you would see like in a video game, like in a Zelda video game. And I started like, what the hell? And I think this thing is, I'm already thinking like, I'm mad that this thing tried to sneak up on me. And I'm like, what the hell? And I started running towards it. And all of a sudden it starts bolting as if like it was completely aware of like my intention and completely aware that it got caught. And it starts going into my room and then through my closet, through the wall, and into my dirty clothes. And I open the closet door and I start stomping the dirty clothes and nothing. And keep in mind, everything's completely dark. The only light that was helping me was that orb. So I was going through like my apartment completely dark, no lights on, nothing.
That's fascinating. Did you think to save the video? Because you said you saw it on camera.
No, I wasn't recording. I was using the actual like infrared to just, peek around, look at my dust and stuff. I didn't think anything was going to happen.
Oh, okay. So you were like wearing like infrared goggles or something?
What's that?
Wait, what kind of camera was this?
It was like a, I'm trying to remember because I bought it at Target. It was like for $50. Like, it was like something guard. It was like a really cheap kind of like, like a little black triangle camera. But
Right. It was
red.
Security camera.
Yeah. Security camera. Yeah. Okay. Wait, and it wasn't recording?
It wasn't recording. No, I was just playing around with it.
Sucks, because that would be
hey, why is my house so dusty?
Yeah, that would be amazing video.
Well, it's kind of correlation there between he's talking about the dust in the house and then seeing an orb, because most of the orb photography that you see is dust motes floating in the air. So like when it's on camera and you see I got a picture of these orbs, it's almost always either or dust mote or condensation, or sometimes like an insect or something that flew close to the lens when it was taking the picture.
This was very apparent. Like
Yeah.
I could see this thing like luminescing in my very eyes.
So you could see it not looking at the screen,
Oh.
but like looking into the room, looking out into the room.
Yes, physical, without using the screen anymore. Like I look back and I'm like, what the hell is this thing? And then I'm just mad that this thing tried to sneak up on me, and I'm trying to squish it. And
How
this thing just
how big
pulled
was
me.
it?
It
You
was
said like a fairy,
the
like
size of like a small ball, like
softball?
a small, I don't know, probably
Ping
like
pong
the
ball?
radius of like 10 inches, like a 10-inch radius or something.
Oh, okay. So that's
pretty big.
semi-substantial. So like, dodgeball size, roughly. Maybe bigger. Depends on which kind of dodgeball you're playing, I guess.
We're just trying to get an
Yeah,
image
a
in our
little
head. How
smaller,
big was
a
the
little bit
space that you
smaller
always?
than-
How
What's
big
that?
was this? How big was the space that you were in? The room, it's like a 12 by 12, or
I was in the main living room, and I don't know how big the space was. I mean, it was a pretty decent sized living room, but he went into my bedroom, like I had a one bedroom apartment, and he went from the living room through the door to the one bedroom into my closet in the one bedroom.
and you were chasing after it while it was
went
doing
through
this.
the door. Well, yeah, I was trying to squish him.
Huh? What'd you think it was when you were trying to squish it?
I didn't think of anything at the time. I just thought, like, I don't know, like something was trying to sneak up on me, like, you little bastard. Because before that, I was dealing with like mental health issues. Before that even happened, I was getting very religious, tried praying, thinking angels and demons and stuff, praying to God, like being very serious with it, actually like praying and stuff, and actually fasting and all that crap. And just like a couple months later down the line, I'm just playing around. All of a sudden, this orb is like right behind me, and I'm just like, what the hell? After that event, though, I don't want to digress too much on it, but the main thing I want to digress on after that event, about when I changed apartments, I went to a new apartment, that's when things started getting even worse. Like, that's when more crap started happening to me. Like, I was being tortured.
Oh, tortured in what manners?
Like, I was actually being socked up. Like it wasn't, they weren't socking or punching my skin. They were punching something in me, and they were punching me like it was if like 100 fists were just beating me up at night. Like, I was sleeping at night. I had another instance where I was almost being like possessed, or trying to, like, my brain was trying to be taken over as I was about to drift off into sleep. My back of my brain got shocked one time. My nerves were getting crushed. And pretty much just threats, constant threats, and
threats from who?
Threats from these voices, these things.
Oh,
these
there was
orbs.
voices.
I'm asking.
These orbs were communicating me through some sort of frequency, like hitting my head.
If you don't mind asking.
Hold on. I just need to ask real quick. Have you talked to a medical professional about these instances of pain? I'm talking specifically about the pain, not about the orbs.
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I'm
do you mind
normal.
sharing the conclusions?
Yes, everything is completely normal. Blood work is normal. The only abnormality they found was a document I sent your guy Ethan, that they said that they found non-epileptic spikes, a frequency that's constantly hitting my frontal lobe. And they don't know what the frequency was, but it's something that's just consistently hitting my frontal lobe with sharp spikes.
A frequency that is hitting the frontal lobe, or a frequency that is coming from the frontal lobe?
No, they said that when they said that, I started drilling them with questions, and they said whatever's hitting you is not from within. It's something that's hitting you from externally, and it's hitting you with like these sharp spikes, like these waves that are like sharp spikes.
Okay, I don't think that that's an accurate interpretation of what was said to you. I wasn't in the room, so I can't be there. But if you're telling me a medical doctor, hold on, hold on, I'm not done yet. Ethan put the paperwork on screen. I've read it several times now. I feel a little wary, reading your medical document and hearing your account of what it means. What I'd like to do is I'd like to speak to your doctor about it if we're going to discuss it at all. But that being said, I do not believe that a medical professional told you that these frequencies were emanating from outside of your brain and affecting your brain. So that doesn't make sense, because you were in a different building when you had when you had the EKG done versus when you're at home, and it's happening in both places. So it must be coming from inside your head. The only thing that's constant, I'm almost done. The only thing that's constant between the two is you.
Yes, but to elaborate more on that is that these attacks, these influences and stuff on my head, they don't stop. I know you're mentioning that it just during that time and oh, okay, they couldn't have scanned me at that time. No, what I'm trying to tell you is that these things, these communications to my head, they don't stop. But what it appeared when I took the EEG is that it appeared as sharp spikes to the front of my brain, my frontal lobe.
Okay, or Gren, you're saying communication.
This hardly ever stops.
Nathan, you're saying communication. Did the doctor say communication? I want to only hear what the doctor said. To be clear, I don't care. Okay, I don't care about your. Okay, hold on. I don't care about your conclusions about your own EKG until you've been to a school that teaches you how to use that equipment. The same reason my conclusion. And didn't I? Sorry, I dropped out for a minute there. The same reason my conclusions about your EKG are completely meaningless. The only thing the EKG told us is that you're having these frequencies, because that's what it measures. It measures, different things to do with the electromagnetic. I can't even fully explain what an EKG imaging does. Yeah, electromagnetic imaging. Thank you. So again, the results of your EKG are next to meaningless if the doctor said that you're receiving communication from outside your body.
EEG.
Okay.
EEG.
Right, but if the doctor said that you're receiving communication from outside of your body, I would like to hear that. But I don't think that's what the doctor told you. I think that's your conclusion about what the doctor told you.
I understand your skepticism on that, but I can just tell you what I felt on my end, and I could just tell you what the doctor put on the report. So, you can kind of deduce your own reasoning off that. Obviously, the report isn't going to show you exactly oh, this is everything Nathan experienced. I'm just telling you what I feel on my end, and then what the report says. You can make your own reasoning, but I just know what I feel.
Well, when people are having a heart attack, Nathan, it's described as an elephant sitting on their chest. That does not mean that an elephant is sitting on their chest. That's just how they feel. So that's the difference between how you feel. That's the difference. That's the difference between. That's the difference.
But an EKG.
Okay, you gotta let them respond.
That's the difference between what you feel and what's actually happening, and that's why we have a third party that comes in and assesses what's actually happening.
Preferably someone with trained medical experience for something like a EEG. Are you still experiencing these episodes?
Yes.
They're ongoing.
What was your question?
If your episodes were ongoing, is this an ongoing circumstance?
It sort of is, but it's dampened a lot more. It actually dampened the more I kind of gave up all the religious stuff. Everything just started dampening a lot more, and it kind of got a little bit more manageable. There was a year and a half where it was just completely unbearable, and that's when I started trying to rely on religion to try to get rid of it. It was to the point where I was actually physically being crushed. Things were being distorted, and my mind was getting distorted. Different parts of my reality, what I could see, was being distorted. I was being deluded with delusions and stuff. So physically real.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
I was seeing they were trying to fill me with an ontology, but at the same time they couldn't fully kill me, if that makes sense. Something was stopping them from fully killing me.
Who couldn't fully kill you?
These things, I would be feeling my brain being stopped from breathing to the point where I was about to asphyxiate, and then all of a sudden, to the point of blackout, they release. Or sometimes my nerves are being crushed, and I'm being like crushed as if something is just like really crushing me from the inside, and then all of a sudden, to like the point of like blackout, I'm being released.
Okay. Nathan, I want you to know, and again, like I said to the other caller, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I believe that you're feeling that way, and I'm very sorry that you're feeling that way, and that your health isn't going well.
Sounds scary, so scary,
yeah,
buddy.
It sounds fucking terrifying. What we're interested in is how you're coming to these conclusions. And what I'd like you to do is to reach out to a doctor and see. And what I'm not getting at is go up to a doctor and make all of these claims and see if they agree with you or not. What I'm talking about is working with a doctor to find a way to make you feel better. Because there are ways, and I'm not necessarily talking about a doctor who's. Okay, again.
Right.
I really hope
you
reach
normal.
out. And
you're just not understanding what I'm trying to convey to you. I'm saying I'm completely normal. Like everything is normal on the blood.
We actually did, right at this point in the conversation, we're taking care to make sure that we're giving you sound advice, because it sounds like what you're dealing with is scary and it's affecting your health.
Yeah,
we want you to take the efforts, make any necessary efforts to deal with that. We're not.
Oh, I understand that.
Nathan, the fact that you're experiencing this is
see what this could be.
The fact that you're experiencing this is not normal, and so if anybody who's telling you that it's normal, I would recommend seeking a second opinion. I don't think it's so much something that an EEG can address. What I
understand.
Look up again. What I think you need to do is talk to somebody about this. And so with that being said, I think respectfully we're gonna go ahead and end the call here. So thank you so much for calling, and have a great night. Okay.
Yeah. Take care, Nathan. That was some scary stuff. I don't know what I would do if I was dealing with that stuff. And it's hard when you feel like you can't reach out to people and talk to them because you're worried about the ridicule. We don't. The culture that we cultivate makes that hard sometimes in the U.S. especially. And I say that kind of tongue in cheek to our in the U.S. caller we had a moment ago, but. Mental health has always been something that's very important to us here at YFNA, and Ethan has a whole show dedicated to that, where we really delve into that. But what we're I'm sorry, I ramble about the mental health, but I want to make sure our callers know that we're not judging you.
That wasn't directed at you. Sorry, that wasn't directed at you. That was just my screensaver because I wanted to go get this little guy.
Oh, yeah. Let's say that we don't want to discourage our callers from reaching out to us and talking about this, but when it comes to talking about your medical condition and stuff, we're going to point you right back to your doctor on that, because we are not qualified to talk about it.
Yeah. Like I said, the only thing I feel comfortable about saying about an EEG is that I don't understand how it works or what the results mean. So I can read a piece of paper though and interpret the words on it, and there was no reference to communication or outside sources in that piece of paper. Yeah, there was only a certain frequency that was detected, and if you have a frequency that's happening inside of your brain that's not there with other people, it means that you're going to experience something differently than other people. And again, I'd say something that's the vaguest term in the world, because I'm not an expert on this subject.
There are so many medical conditions.
Yeah, but the point being is that an atypical brain state will cause atypical experiences of reality. And if an atypical brain state is observed, then atypical experiences of reality make sense. Anyway.
Martin, did you check if when you dropped out, if it said request timed out on your screen?
Every time. I'll send you the whole log. Every single line is the same.
Okay, then you're good. It's not dropping packets. That's all I need.
Right. It's just, what is it, StreamYard? StreamYard doesn't like my computer for some reason. And that's sad, because it's a new computer.
Browser.
This is probably
I guess
backstage
I'll try that next
chat,
time.
guys.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thanks, Brian. Guys, we're going to be jumping over to Discord in a moment. Sorry, we did not get to all the callers. We tried to get to as many as we could. If you want to continue the conversation, the Discord link is in the description of the video. Martin Robert now has Twitter. I'll add the link to the description of the video soon. Brian's links are in the description as well. As quickly as possible, what do you guys have going on?
Well, I've been doing the Mysteries of the Unexplained Rewind, where I go back through the... Hold on, I got the book here. Where I go back through this volume from my childhood, Mysteries of the Unexplained. It was a book that was very influential to me when I was a kid, reading about all the woo and stuff. So I've been breaking down that and going through the chapters and discussing it. And those are coming out on Mondays. And I've also been breaking it up with doing some fun stuff, looking at Conservapedia and whatnot. So Mondays I release a video. Saturdays I stream 9 a.m. Central.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. What about you, Martin?
I am busy. Very, very busy. I don't know if I've talked about this on the last time I was on with Autumn. Got a little cat fur floating around.
It's flying everywhere right now.
Yeah, it happens to me too. Oh, Woodhouse is always shedding because it's always hot in Florida. Anyway, I have a new job, and I almost want to call it a career at this point, working for the atheist community of Austin. In charge of their production and communications. And when I say in charge of their production, I don't mean Greg is gone. I just work for Greg to help things go smoothly. So, yeah, I'm having a lot of fun doing that. It's been keeping me busy. I got to quit my job at Whole Foods. I'm hopefully going to stop driving Uber Eats soon. Fingers crossed that's sooner rather than later. And, yeah. But other than that, not much going on. Oh, I guess I'm filming the Nonprofits tomorrow, so that'll be airing this Sunday. At, let's see, 3 o'clock Central, I want to say. Something like that. Yeah, 3 o'clock Central. That sounds right. So be sure to check out the Nonprofits.
Stiletto Leray, thank you for the super chat. I love that your kitten is so climby. Yes, he is. So this Thursday, we're having a special edition of the Pickup Line. I will not be on, but Thomas Westbrook will be taking my place and hosting with his girlfriend, Hannah Vaughn. So it should be an interesting episode. And then Notes from Autumn is now hosting Ask an Atheist, and she'll be interviewing apostate crap. Don't have the name handy.
And
then Laura
about.
McGee will be taking over for me on the Ethan and Jenna show this Thursday with Jenna Belk on the topic of mental health and pregnancy. I obviously can't add anything to that. Real quickly, I would like to thank our top-tier patrons, Cindy Plaza, Kenneth, Leonard, Skye, JumpandShoot, Oz, P, Secular Rarity, Philip Leitch, Kaitlyn, Beyond, Toast, Richard Gilliver, Sunset Sarge, the Blazing Wizard Pope, and Matthew. Thank you, everyone, for the super chats, and join us in the Discord.
See you there.
See you there.
Crap. There we go.
But we'll talk about that off camera. But just for everyone listening, that's something I want to do someday on this show. Were you listening?
No, I'm sorry.
I'm learning. Okay, you're more red than you are when you say masturbate.
Oh, because I'm embarrassed and it's.
I caught you.
I'm sorry, and I mean absolutely.
I'm a terrible co-host.